My name is Alex, and I'm a front engineer. Also, I live in Germany for several years now, and also I am an expat. So each time I get somewhere, I expect that people will not speak my native language, or if I get to some interfaces, 0% I will get to the native interfaces to me. That's why the internationalization is super important topic for me. When I started to dig into it, I thought, okay, it's just about translations. Actually, not. It's not only about that. It's I'm pretty sure that when you first heard about accessibility, you thought, okay, yeah, it's just I will add an alt attribute to the image, and that's it. That never happens like that. I ended up like after 3 hours at W3C, and in the 3 hours, I just made a bullet list of the topics I need to read in. So what is actually internalization? Yeah. Internalization includes several domains. From time to time, they change specification, including in new ones, like they did with the text direction for sure, some cultural norm and expectations, which are plenty of those there. Time zone, currencies, dates, name, addresses, which is a huge headache for the implementation. Universal code base, unexpectedly, but it is also a part of internalization. And the last one, but not the least one, localization. That would be not fair to mention that internalization is also called globalization in some companies like Oracle, but it's just a mess of terms we're experiencing right now, and I base my opinion on the W3C specification. For today, we're gonna focus mostly on universal code base, text direction a bit, and localization. As you can see, we can wrap it up in L10N with all serialization terms in the front end, most likely. We have a couple approaches currently in the market. The first one is direct. You're probably familiar with code, so we just store our translations inside our app. Then we have some getters to get default locale and get locale if user set it up. And then the mapper, which maps through our dictionary to get us proper translation. Then we use our translations inside of the component we wrap with a high order component. We didn't import it just because it's just generic name of higher order component for you to get what it means. The second approach, like the traits of it is super straightforward, pretty easy to maintain, but only for engineers. And editing translations might be done, but not only engineers, but well, even engineers can boom the code. The second one is outsourced. It's pretty much the same, but translations are stored somewhere else. It can be external repositories. It can be third-party sources like PhraseApp, for instance. Also, it has its perks, but the complexity of editing, maintenance, there as well. It comes with pluses like we now able to expand the translations through different apps. We can try to check which keys we used or not, but only manually. And that's how we're getting to the point where we actually need to identify which problem we are trying to solve with all this setup. We have a check marks, yes, no, kinda there. So as engineers, we try to take as little care about editing after initial setup as we can. That is the initial goal of the whole automatization, I guess. For designers, we want to make our prototypes be adjustable with one click in a new language, which will adapt our user elements in a way that in which we will not do any changes or alignments on it. And for products, we want to save money, basically. And as a product, when you usually trigger a chain of editing, you like, hey, designer, I need to change. Designer, yeah. Sir, yes, sir. And he changed the prototype. Then he triggered the engineer. I changed the prototype. It should be implemented. Or if you have external translator, so it's a chain of people for one word. It's just expensive. For direct, you can see that we solve kind of one engineer's issue, and we don't solve the rest. For other domains, well, it actually depends on the designer. If designer did the prototype properly, when the elements knows about each other, when the text field knows about the wrapper around it, it can work. But it's actually not the stuff that localization or internalization will affect. And we solve zero products issues. For outsourced, we do solve one engineering issue that now non-tech people are able to actually change the translations, but not always. Let's say if it's external repository where we store our keys, it still requires from the non-tech people the basic Git knowledge, which is not the part of their role descriptions, and it's more than understandable for us to take care of it, and that brings us back to expensive chain of employees. Yeah, not much different for outsourced. I should say that I pointed those issues out just because for sure we still solve the basic issues, but this one appears when I started to dig in it. So let's do a step back and ask ourselves, like, can we even meet the goals? I didn't know that we have those goals until I found the solution for it. I did not realize that we actually can solve most of them with any guesses? No. Figma. Figma with the Figma variables. Looks like the tech is like one step from this impression, just because it's, most tech people basically not aware of Figma variables right now. And that's gonna happen in the following years. Figma variables are not Figma token, not design tokens. This is a different, let's say, beta alpha version of the actual variables. When they will roll up the variables widely, you will no longer be not be able, but there will be no need to use design tokens anymore. It will be like design tokens included and much more. So the best approach we currently had was outsourced with a one check mark in those issues. But if we check this demo, I'm not that brave to do the live coding or something like Cesar. So in this demo, we have a super simple button with the attached Figma variable to it. We can change the variable itself to attach a different value, which is cool, but not like booming, right? But what we also can do with it is that, well, first off, yeah, you can see that it reflects the size of it, but then we can change the whole layer language. And this is basically a JSON which is stored at Figma, and now we can handle even like not just letter languages, which is super cool. Now we don't need anymore the proxy between our applications and the storage of transitions. Now we can change them the translations right in Figma, and it requires like almost zero technical skills. You will change it, and with the next build, your build will, during the building, it will pull the new translations, it will absorb it, and it will be right there. So no engineers, no designers are triggered. The person, whoever it is, just change it there, and that's it.
But it requires the translator to be a designer.
Well, yes. There is no proxy that can solve it. Well, you can say that LLM or some AIs might solve it, but we know how accurate it is. You can't really rely on it. Translations must be done manually. So when you have a table of your keys for German, for English, for other languages, you still have to put them manually. And if you want to change them, yes, you still have to change them manually. But there will be like currently only one person. Without the person who will change the prototype, change the code base, change the sources of the translations. So this is it. Also, I want to, what's mouse? Yeah. Also, I want to filter via my YouTube recommendations. I want to filter through these Figma variables our requirements. And we still have a lacking right-to-left text just because Figma variables currently are at beta testing, and we don't really know. Will they support right-to-left text or not? Maybe we have designers right now, and if you heard about it, something, probably no. So
the RTL languages.
no, like right-to-left text in Arabic or yeah. So do you know if Figma can support it?
Not sure.
Yes, I actually am.
Supports right to left, but I'm not sure if it's supported in terms of the variables.
Okay.
Left is supported, so I see that.
Okay. And the same way is kinda solved for being able to see unused keys to make the bundle with the translations less heavy. Is that we still like hope that Figma will think of it and that they will handle it, but to be honest, I'm not sure how. When they get us the package with the translations, how would they know which translations we actually use? The only use case when they can think of it is that they can see in which prototypes this key was used, but that will require the prototypes to be like cutting edge, like no misalignments there at all, and that will take tons of maintenance from the designer. So I don't know if they will include it in the next iterations. State of variables. So we can get the variables right now via plugin API, which is also in beta testing. Also, we can write our own plugins. Some limitations of it is that we can't really I mean, if we will use it directly, yes, we will be able to play with the shape of the JSON, but if we will use a plugin for it, we'll need to write our own plugin to give us an opportunity to provide the proper shape of the JSON we want to get from it. Some limitations. Or limitations for 5,000 keys, probably not the critical one for small teams or startups, but for the big ones, this is a party stopper for sure. Also, variable collections, this is actually the most important limitations I currently found. That in Figma, we have frames inside of the files, but the variables can be used only in one file. As I said, in small startups and teams, you can work inside of one file while you just one or two probably designers, but when it grow up, you will need to get out of it, and then you can't really reuse the variables you used in one file in a different one, even though you want to publish it with a design library, the design library will not pick up the collection from the specific file, and it will not get to the design library, unfortunately for now. But as I say, they are at beta testing, and fingers crossed, they will handle it. From kind of inside information, I know that they prioritize the context drilling, and this parser stopper that I mentioned, this is their priority right now. And that's pretty much it about Figma variables.